These are some of my most autistic hacks I use to get more energy so that I can focus on doing more work, creating more output, and creating more high quality work so that I can make more money and train harder. So these are all based on the 20% of things that give you 80% of the results, the Pareto principle. Starting off with no kitty. No kitty saves you so much mental space. This is an autistic hack because it's denying yourself of a human need for logic and for saving time and for conserving energy. I would actually put this on the effectiveness scale. It is a 10 out of 10. On the longevity scale, that would depend on how autistic you are and how much you can handle that. I find the amount of time you save, the amount of mental strain you save, and the amount of realigned focus you can have where all your focus was on this one thing, getting kitty. If you realign that focus onto your one goal of achieving work and achieving a specific goal at work or training harder and achieving a dream physique, all of that energy doesn't disappear. It gets converted into one direction. It is super autistic in the way that you have to learn how to convert that energy, which can be a bit insane, but it's super possible. I find the seasons I go where I am practicing celibacy and retention, I get so much more work done, although my quality of life does go down a bit. The second autistic hack is autistic in the way where it is very specified, and that would be HIIT training. So not just training in general, but a specific form of training, high intensity interval training. You would assume that spending more energy lowers your overall energy that you would have for work. And that may be the case in some things like this, but in the physical case of making your body healthier, you actually end up gaining more energy than you lose. Maybe not directly after, but overall, you will be a higher energy individual if you train more and exert your physical body more often. It's the energy paradox. The more energy you spend, the more energy you get. High intensity interval training for work, I would put pretty close to as high as you can. This can include things like running, boxing, anything where you're doing high output for a longer period of time. I'm not too familiar with the effects of like longer distance running, but high intensity short sprint intervals seem to also increase testosterone levels, which is super interesting, which also helps you have more energy overall and work better. There's so many benefits to testosterone on work. Like people with testosterone literally earn more money in some studies. It's really interesting to look at, but it makes sense when you analyze all the factors that testosterone gives you, such as increased aggression and drive towards the work, increased assertiveness, increased risk taking, which you need as a business owner. So high intensity interval training does that, but it also keeps you mentally sane. So this is actually a little bit less autistic, just how specific it is, not just training, but high intensity interval training for work, maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week. Nothing crazy. The third autistic hack is supplementing, not just for straight energy levels, but also for like mental acuity, so that the energy that you do spend and in those work blocks is more higher output and higher quality overall. So these are going to include things like, if we're focused on energy, we have things like we talked about that increase testosterone levels. Tonka Ali is massive. Make sure you get like a insane dose of it, as well as vitamin D. Surprisingly, pretty much everyone has a vitamin D deficiency, and we're going to want to take a lot more than what is recommended. The typical recommended dose is like 1000 IUs. I take 1000% of that every day, and I haven't died yet. And my energy levels throughout the day have increased massively. So most of the energy supplements are testosterone based. Tonka Ali, vitamin D 10,000 IUs, and caffeine, of course. I try to microdose caffeine at the moment because I found I have got a very addictive personality. And when it comes to anything like that, I'm very Moorish. So I tend to avoid higher doses of caffeine because I can become very anxious. It can actually make me a bit jittery for work and start making stupid decisions. But that's where the brain supplements come in, so that you have a clearer mind and you can produce a better quality of work. Because sometimes you don't need to be doing more, you just need to be doing what you're already doing, but better, because you're probably doing it like shit at the moment. If you've got brain fog all the time, if you can't think clearly for extended periods of time, if your brain gets tired and exhausted, these are going to help you. Lion's Mane is a supplement for neuroplasticity, which helps you learn quicker, puts you into flow state easier, I found as well, so that you can get straight into the flow for work instead of spending all this time pottering around doing bullshit. I recommend the Life Cycle tinctures because I've done the powdered form of Lion's Mane before, and I just found it wasn't as effective as doing the drops. It will depend on the brand, but I always tend to play around with dosages and self-experiment. If you don't notice a benefit, try some more. Creatine, you might have thought this in the energy levels, but anything exceeding 15 grams of creatine, roughly it would depend on body weight and things like that. But like 15 to 20 grams of creatine is going to start being absorbed into your brain, which is super efficient. Holding more water in your brain helps it perform better. So overdosing your creatine, which you may already know what it is, but basically bodybuilders use it to look bigger and have more stored water in their muscles. So it actually makes you stronger and look bigger without too much bloating, which is awesome. But it's got this mental benefit where when you exceed the 15 gram mark, it all gets absorbed into your brain because your muscles are fully saturated with the creatine. I found I was thinking clearly. You know, when you get that dry brain feeling and thoughts aren't coming off as smoothly, that completely eliminated that. There's some studies on it improving sleep deprivation symptoms. So if you find you're working a lot and you're struggling to sleep, maybe for a season, you just can't get this much sleep for whatever reason, having 15 to 20 grams of creatine in the morning almost resets that sluggish feeling and you just feel back to baseline, which is insane and super useful, which I've actually felt myself. Last brain supplement is L-theanine. I am actually not familiar with the dosages or how L-theanine works in the brain. I just know that it works and that every time I have it, I get straight into flow state pretty much within 10 minutes of ingesting it. My friend bought these, you know those nicotine pouches, those Zins or Snus that you put in your lip? He bought a nootropic version of that, which had L-theanine in it. And I've also tried L-theanine by itself, and I got the exact same effect where getting into flow state was so much easier. So I saved so much time. And also I was able to do it for a more extended period of time, which was focusing on like deep, important work, brain hungry work that usually you want to avoid. But in this state with L-theanine, I found my brain was super respondent to it and it worked really well. So these are all massive for productivity. And if you want overall more energy, focus on these things. Brain points, focus on these things. There's a bunch more supplements you can take, but I just want to focus on the 20%. I would put these around that 7 to 8 mark. The final autistic hack is eggs before bed. Specifically 4 eggs before bed, I find is the magic number. The rawer you can have the yolk, the better, because that's where all the nutrients that we're trying to suck out is kept. So eggs have this thing called cholesterol in them. People say cholesterol is bad for you. I'm sure you've heard this a bunch. Oh, your cholesterol must be so high. You can't eat that many eggs. This is what I hear a lot because I'm like a massive egg consumer. But eggs are bad for cholesterol. You need to avoid these things, right? Fucking wrong. The cholesterol in eggs is so good for you because testosterone and actually your sex hormones are built on cholesterol and fat. Those hormones are made out of these chemicals. So you need to consume cholesterol specifically before bed because if you're a man, you produce the most testosterone throughout the night. Your balls are a testosterone factory and they start work at night while you're asleep. So if you consume the fuel to fuel this factory before you go to bed, then when you wake up in the morning, you're going to wake up ready to go. If you supplement this with the no kitty kitty, you may be struggling a little bit to maintain urges, but if you're not a bitch and you know how to breathe properly and you move your body with high intensity interval training and you focus that energy onto work instead of just obsessively focusing on the kitty kitty, then you're going to be able to use this energy to perform better at work. And this is one of the most potent forms of energy is sexual energy. It's literally peak energy, peak motivation. The last thing I wanted to focus on, I actually wanted to add one more thing because this is super important. Winning. Winning gives you more energy. You know for a fact this is true. The more you win, the more you succeed, the more momentum you have, and the more you want to do the thing because you're positively rewarded for it. Whether that be the work, you're rewarded from the work itself by getting more money. Whether that be physically, you're rewarded with compliments, you're rewarded with praise, you're rewarded with a self-internal reward system where you believe that you're doing a good thing. So when you see your physique improve, you feel like you're winning. Winners win, losers lose. Winning starts at the belief level, man. You have to believe you're a winner before you win fucking anything. Because if you stay in this loser mentality, you're going to continue to lose forever. There's so many stories of fighters when they eventually do end up losing a fight and they go on a losing streak, or basketball players when they hit a bad season and then they're like stuck in this bad luck loop. It's actually just the loser effect and the winner effect taking place. Winners win and losers lose. If you stay winning in as many realms as you can within yourself, whether that be fitness, business, social life, integrity, so things that you were saying to yourself that you keep true. Simple things like, I said I was going to go to the gym today, so I went to the gym today. I said I was going to have this for dinner, so I did that for dinner. All of those are micro wins. And then you can also have these big win moments like winning a boxing fight, doing a big launch for work and getting a bunch of clients. The more you win, the more you win. Winners win and losers lose. But you actually do have to start by visualizing yourself as a winner, because man, when I started this journey of like trying to improve myself through business, through fitness, I found I was a loser in literally every single regard. Smoking weed, playing video games, physically unathletic. And starting that momentum from the ground up is fucking tough. Like when you are genuinely a loser, you have to be so self-delusional to the point where you think, fuck, I can do anything. This all starts with the little wins. That's why Jordan Peterson says, make your bed, bro. Like literally make your bed. Say you're going to make your bed and then make your bed. Say you're going to brush your teeth and then brush your teeth. Say you're going to do 5 push-ups, then do 5 push-ups. It started with all these simple wins, and I literally wasn't even able to physically make my bed. And now I'm training 7, 8, 9 times a week, working on my business, owning a gym, managing clients while making YouTube videos on top of it. And that's all from the winner effect. That guy didn't have enough energy or self-belief or skill set to handle anything that I can handle now. And all of this energy, all of this drive came from those small wins, that momentum of building up wins over time. Winners win and losers lose. If you are winning 51% of the time, losing 49% of the time, you're going to make progress. Dream scenario, you're a bit more fucking ambitious than that, and you're trying to win 99% of the time and not even lose 1% of the time, which should be your goal, because the act of striving for that, you will achieve more than if you aim for 51%. Shoot for the moon, land in the stars. But yeah, man, you do have to focus on the small shit to start. Be super real with wherever you're at. If you are genuinely struggling to keep your fucking room clean, if you're struggling to get in the gym 3 times a week, if you're struggling to eat clean, if you're struggling to focus at work for like an hour, 2 hours on something you don't want to do, you need to start with the things that are just hard enough for you to do, hard enough to be challenging, but something that you can stick to. Once you build up those wins, your self-belief builds up, and it's a snowball effect, but not downhill. It's more like uphill, which is pretty cool. Compound effect, I believe it's called. Winners win, losers lose. Eat 4 eggs before bed. It's good for your testosterone. You'll wake up hard. No kitty. Supplements, Tonka Ali. Vitamin D, 10,000 IUs. Don't be scared. Drink a lot of caffeine. Lion's mane for neuroplasticity, easier learning and getting into flow state easier. Creatine for helping sleep deprivation and helping your brain fire a bit cleaner, as well as L-theanine does the same thing. High intensity interval training for increasing your testosterone levels and just feeling better about yourself in general. You're a human with a human body. Fucking use the thing, man. So yeah, enjoy your life. These are my most autistic hacks for getting more energy for work, but also for life in general. If you enjoyed that video, comment down below, but also there is a link in the description for you to book a call. Super low pressure. It's just genuinely a health audit of where you're at right now and how we can apply a lot more advanced tactics as well as these into your life so that we can help you perform better at work. We implement training programs, nutrition programs, energy optimization, so we can just work out if it will work for you. No stress. You're an entrepreneur. You know how these sales things go. It's a genuine audit, completely free call, no pressure. See you, bro.